Our final panel discussion for this second SWAN Cape Town workshop is on bridging the digital divide on the continent, and to lead us in that conversation is the Chief Executive of IMQS. Please welcome Masheke Mukwamataba.
All right. No, I don't think so. Where's the little timer there? Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you're all still feeling fresh. It's the last session of the day. I think maybe we should just start off with a little exercise. Everyone's looking a little bit tired. Let's all stand up. Let's all stand up, okay? Let's just shake off the day. Okay, we're gonna start by 7 shakes on your right hand, 7 shakes on the right, on the left, the leg, and then we're just gonna keep doing that until we're done. Okay, let's get started. Right, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 1, 1. 1, 1. All right. I feel like there's a little bit more energy in the room now. Great. Thank you, coordinators, for setting this up, and thanks for the opportunity to have a chat with the attendees. We've got a very interesting group on our panel now. I think they saved the best for last, so I'm looking forward to the answers from our team. But maybe just to very quickly, just a little bit of a recap. It's been an interesting couple of days. I think we've all learned a lot. I must say, the SWAN conference has a very diverse group of individuals. We've moved from finance, capital planning yesterday into digital transformation strategies today. Who would have thought engineers would be so diverse in their own nature? But we're here, and we've been very positive with our responses, and I think there's a lot to be learned and a lot of challenges that we need to help resolve. Now, my perspective with these type of conferences is that there needs to be a couple of key takeaways that we take from these initiatives. And if we look at yesterday, a lot of it was around funding, budgets, understanding how we can do more with less, and how do we start to incorporate the private sector into solving our problems together, right? I think that where we sit as a private sector, often we don't know how to assist the public sector. Our view is solving digital problems, solving engineering problems, being very specific about the solutions or the productization of the value chain. But when we start to look broader, we start to realize that there's probably more that we can be doing as a partnership with our public sector individuals. Today, the focus was really a lot on the digital journey. I think we've had some great sessions this morning, mid-morning, afternoon, where we've talked about digital twins, we've talked about AI, we've talked about smart meters, we've talked about how do we start to really tie these different solutions together as one holistic picture for a city. I think this session for me is going to be a little bit different. I want to be very practical. I want us to talk about the challenges, the experiences on the ground, the people who've been implementing these solutions. How do rural municipalities bring in digital transformation as a part of their fabric? Is it feasible? Can it be done? The problems are different to when you're looking at a city. When I also look at the Uganda water companies' solutions, scaling up from 28 cities to 273. What are the challenges that occur there? How do you take that on as an organization? And then, of course, we're going to be diving deep into the smart metering conversation with Christina from GoSoft, who's been implementing these systems and these smart meters in Africa and East Africa, and what are the typical challenges we see there. So one last time, I want you to stand up and give a round of applause as I welcome my three panelists. All right, thank you very much. Christina, Nombasa, and Joyce, if you could please join us on the stage. Okay, welcome, welcome. There's a microphone for you. There's two microphones there on the table. All right. So I think we're going to take it a bit easy today. We're going to have a little conversation, and we're going to experience what it takes to run some of our municipalities and what are the lessons that we can take home today. So I'm going to start by introducing Nombasa, who's a technical director currently at Amathole District Municipality, but she also sits on the forum of technical directors within the province, with a wealth of experience coming from Alfredo, where she's implemented several different smart metering and telemetry systems, and really want to understand from you, what has that journey been? What is the key things that you've implemented within Alfredo and within the community that you're working with?
Am I audible? All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As I've been introduced, my name is Nombasa Msebi. I am currently the technical director at Amathole District Municipality, a municipality in the Eastern Cape. I have been a director in at least 3 water services authorities in the Eastern Cape, from Tambo, Alfredo, and now Amathole. And I'm also the chair lady of the Eastern Cape Technical Directors Forum, which is the technical directors in the Eastern Cape from various sectors, the provincial government, the municipalities, local municipalities, and all the entities that are in the Eastern Cape. Talking about the journey, yes, in the Alfredo District Municipality, we started with the implementation of a district-wide telemetry system. We started by piloting a few sites within the municipality, and after we have learned the lessons from there, and then we started implementing it broader in the district municipality. Some of the challenges that we had, I feel the presentation that was done by DG from Water and Sanitation sort of summarized our experiences in the district municipalities or rural municipalities. The first issue is the issue of change management. You are sitting with an issue of eradicating backlogs versus moving with the times. And in that space, they feel each and every rand and cent that they have must go back to backlogs eradication. So they don't really buy in the issue of technology before you have given everyone access. So that was the first hurdle that we needed to overcome. After we had done that, trying to be creative, because we sold it as a water conservation and demand strategy, which is a requirement by the Department of Water and Sanitation, and then that's when leadership started to buy it, because it's a mandatory requirement by the Department of Water and Sanitation. So that's how we were able to surmount that challenge. Now, during the implementation stage, we had some operational issues. First of all, the terrain, the geography, it's a mountainous area. All sites are scattered. So we did have those challenges, the network connectivity, we also had those challenges. We had the challenges of the personnel because the staff that is already there, some have been there for 20 years, and you find that you've got a plumber who does not have any formal qualification. You've got superintendents that don't have formal qualification. So now to try and make them to move with the times and the technology, that becomes a problem. Issues of vandalism, it was also a threat because if you're bringing in technology, people have got a feeling that you are taking away their job security. So obviously they will vandalize it because they still want you to rely on them. So those are the challenges that we have experienced in the rural municipality. I'm not sure if that's sufficient, but I will leave it there for now. Thank you.
No, that's great. That's great. I think you've touched on quite a few issues there, which from a rural context is important. Well, what was the secret sort of source that led to the success of those projects?
Okay, in terms of the success, first of all, we had to do a lot of work in terms of convincing the employees in the municipality to say, no, this is not coming to take away your jobs, but it's going to enhance how we are delivering our services to the community. So that was what made it to be successful. Another thing, our non-revenue water reduced because in terms of the AG report, one of the significant findings in our municipality was the issue of high water losses. Yeah. So we're able to convince a council to say, this is going to assist us in reduction of non-revenue water. And indeed, I think over 3 financial years, we managed to get a clean audit opinion because we're able to reduce those water losses. So those were some of the success factors that we've had in the municipality. Thank you.
Thanks, that's great insight. I just want to also check, obviously in terms of getting the funding initially for the project. I mean, I think many municipalities, we're struggling with the fact that we've got aging infrastructure, we've got pipe bursts, we've got maintenance, and all of these other issues. How were you able to motivate, or how did the municipality motivate to go down this path, given this environment that we operate in?
Legislative reform, the DGD talk about that. Over the number of years, the grant conditions, because most rural municipalities are grant dependent. So legislative reform, because I think just after COVID, the grant conditions were relaxed to allow municipalities to use them for refurbishment. So we tapped in on the conditional grants for the refurbishment of our infrastructure. And then in terms of funding the system itself, because one of the grant conditions that are put in by the Department of Water and Sanitation for the grants is that you need to have a water conservation and a water demand management strategy. So as part of our strategy, this is what we said we are going to do. So it was easy now to submit our business plans to the Department of Water Affairs and Forestry, and it was funded. So we used the conditional grants. So it's about preparing a business case that is convincing to those that you want money. And in our case, we're able to convince the National Department of Water and Sanitation to say, we need this as a response to our water conservation and demand management strategy, and we need this to improve and reduce our non-revenue water, which is the water losses. And it is one of the grant conditions to say every municipality who receives a grant must be able to reduce the non-revenue water. So I think it worked to our advantage. So that's why I'm saying with the presentation by the DG to say there will be those legislative reforms which are sort of empowering or enforcing municipalities to adhere to certain requirements for water services provisioning. So I feel that is what assisted us to be able to access the funding to implement the system.
How many smart meters did you implement?
We did not implement smart meters. We installed the district-wide telemetry system to be able to do our water balancing, to understand where our water is going, and to have faster response to the leaks that we're having there, because with the system you are able to monitor everything in the comfort of the head office, and you're able to respond rather than sending workers to go and find out what is the problem. So the troubleshooting, you get it in the office. And it also, as a benefit to the institution, reduces the cost of employment because you find workers working overtime. So immediately now you've got a system, then you reduces the cost of employment, and which is a major challenge for most municipalities, because we are told we not adhere to the regulations that are there that says the total cost of employment to the total operation cost of the institution has to be a certain percentage.
Yeah.
So it also assists in reducing that cost of employment.
I can only imagine that once you start to impact on elements of overtime, then there's other challenges there with the unions, etc. Was that managed through leadership buy-in, or how did you manage that situation?
Yeah, that's a very good one. The thing is, with overtime, we have to ensure that people understand that overtime is a prerogative of an employer. You are not entitled to overtime, you are instructed to do overtime. So if now, as part of change management in the institution, everybody understands that. So that's how we manage that issue, because even unions, you need to explain to them that overtime is not a given, you have to be instructed. But as I said, it was not easy, because it also leads to vandalism. Sure. Because once they see that you are tampering with what they feel is bread and butter issues, then you'll start those issues like vandalism, but get consequence management. Because at the end of the day, as much as you've got a union, but each and every employee is an individual. And in terms of consequence management, you don't deal with a union, you deal with the employee who has done something wrong. So as soon as you enforce and be firm, and the municipality or organization implements consequence management, then you make one example with one employee and you are factual, then it enforces everyone to be sure that they comply. So it's change management, it's consequence management, and also a management, how do I put it? You need to be strong as management and firm. But I'm not saying it's an easy journey, but it takes time to continuously improve.
Thank you very much. I think you sort of kind of touch into the next part of the conversation, which is really around people, right? And I think we've talked a lot over the last few days around people, technologies, and such. Joyce Bakiire, you are the Senior Manager of Training and Capacity Development within the National Water and Sanitation Corporation in Uganda. Your experience within your organization, in your role as the organization has grown over the last few years, how has that been? How's the change management aspect? How's the people development what was successful in those processes? Maybe you could just tell us a little bit of your story.
Thank you very much for allowing me to share the Ugandan story. My background is commercial and customer care management, but currently heading the training and capacity development within National Water. And I'm glad to be here to be able to share the experiences. So just with the background that they gave, National Water has grown over the years from three towns in 1972 to 23 towns by 2012, and now 283 towns. So it takes courage, it takes visionary leadership, it takes effort and people to be able to bring forth to this transformation. In National Water, we are customer-centric, and we have heavily invested in staff training and capacity leadership, and we have tailor-made courses. We do have customized courses. We have vocational trainings for our staff. So in capacity development, we are completely having the training center, which handles internal and external training programs. Now, within these operations as National Water, the database is centralized, we are able to have real-time monitoring on our performance parameters, real-time reporting, and this helps us and gives management visibility of what each and every staff in the operational areas is doing. We are target-driven. We do performance evaluation and performance appraisals every quarter, and then we do performance improvement programs. And that's how we've managed to leverage and have a standardized performance within all the operational towns. On the customer side, we do manage the call center, which is 24/7. We have digital platforms for the customers, and we are able to get feedback from them instantly in all the towns. Within the call center, the setup of Uganda is multilingual. We all have over 30 languages, so our call center is able to support in all the languages, right from the supervisor to the operational staff, to those who are picking the telephones. So there is no way saying that we are not able to support. We have people who can speak all the languages within the whole country. So I think that's how we've managed to leverage over time and sustain our service delivery.
Thanks for that. I mean, I'd imagine from a training and capacity perspective, what is the number one capability gap that prevents utilities from benefiting from digital tools and systems?
Thank you very much. Like I've talked about, in capacity development, we do a number of programs. But what has stood out, one, is the culture for embracing the use of ICT and use of AI. The disintegrated systems, and most of the processes are still manual. So data integration, automation of services, having the systems to speak to each other is what has been the biggest hindrance. But like we've said, we've put in place programs like that, and we're able to train staff, whether it's data analysis. And also what makes National Water stand out is that all the systems that we are using for billing, revenue collection, customer relationship management are in-house. They are developed by the team for software development, and they do in-house training and hand-holding the users. So with the National Development Plan, NDP4, for the government of Uganda, we have what we call human capital development, and that's where we place our training and capacity development to be able to meet that goal. And on a yearly basis or annual basis, we do vocational skilling of the shop floor staff, where we take the field staff for practical training within the vocational school, and they are able to be taught how to be able to perform their tasks and improve their skill. On the other side of the staff who are the technical, finance, leadership, we have a target to train at least 2,000 staff every year. And here we partner with organizations like universities, and they're able to bring tailor-made courses for them. So as a result, when we identify a problem, we are able to make a tailor-made solution to be able to develop the capacity of our staff. Thank you.
No, thank you, Joyce. I noticed you never mentioned that the NWSC won a Digital Excellence Award for their digital roadmap. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit of what that award was about. And
Okay. We appreciate that National Water, as one of the leading utilities, was able to win the Digital Performance Award in the government sector. And that looked at the solutions that we are providing to keep the customer at the center. How convenient have we made our services to be able to have the customer apply for a service, pay for it, be able to register a complaint. So all our systems are customer-centric. And also, it was placed on where we engage our customers and we get the feedback from them. We have very active social media platforms for National Water, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Facebook, and each and every operational town has a customer engagement forum. If I reach my home, I find there's no water, I'm able to post instantly and get an instant reply from the accounting manager for the operational area. And the visibility is not only for that operational area, but the managing director is part of that forum, top management is part of that forum, but also having a visionary board that is able to help us in strategic direction. That's what has made us be able to win that award. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that. I think what's kind of coming out here as a common theme is that strategic buy-in from the top really makes things happen. I think maybe jumping to you, Christina, obviously we've heard a little bit about you in the Kenyan utility story. Tell us a little bit about GoSoft and the impact you're making in East Africa.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's working, okay. So thank you. My name is Christine, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of GoSoft East Africa. We've been around for 5 years, so we are a startup. But in the 5 years, we have been implementing smart water meter solutions. So we have deployed smart metering solutions in public utilities. We have deployed in private utilities and also private development organizations. So over the last 5 years, we have experienced a lot of the challenges that we have seen in the last 2 days. One being, poor infrastructure, non-revenue water, policy issues around smart metering, the lack of goodwill from organizations that really want to deploy smart metering but are limited by funds, by staff that are unwilling to adopt smart metering. But where we have been successful are organizations like Murwasco, where there's goodwill right from the top. And the management is really, really committed to making a change and deploying smart metering across their networks. So we have experienced those challenges. We have experienced financial challenges because smart meters are not cheap. They are 3 times the price of analog meters. So that's been a major challenge, and we have been able to finance that through shareholder funding. We have funded some meters through external funds. But when we look at the journey that we've had in the last 5 years, we have been able to adapt some strategies that have helped our utilities to increase revenues, reduce operational costs, train their staff, and get customer satisfaction through the ability of being able to access their data on their phones, pay their bills on time, and most of these utilities have seen an increment in their revenues and really use the additional revenues to invest in their infrastructure, rehabilitate new sites, and also train their staff. So unlike Uganda, where National Water does the training in-house, in Kenya we have an organization called KEWI. So we have partnered with KEWI as the smart meter partner. So we do training for water utilities. And this has also extended to organizations like WASPA, the Water Service Providers Association. So they bring their water utilities, and we run training for their operational teams, technical teams, and their executives.
Fantastic. Just one thing I wanted to check with you. I mean, obviously, there's a big drive for smart meters in East Africa at the moment. What was the major driver for that?
So the major driver basically was reduction of non-revenue water. So a lot of utilities wanted to reduce their non-revenue water, and many of these utilities were mandated by the national government to bring their non-revenue water to below 20%. So the average non-revenue water in Kenya for many utilities is between 40 to 50%. Sometimes it goes up to 60%, depending on where you are. So this was the major driver of organizations adopting smart metering.
Fantastic. I think just taking a look at the time there, when I still have some time to open to the floor for some questions, I believe there's a poll that is also ready. So I think obviously as part of the process, we've wanted to get a couple of questions going. There's a QR code which is currently on the board. If you can just log into that and cast your vote on the 3 questions that we put out. It was just been interesting feedback in terms of some of the key drivers that the different organizations have taken away from it. Whilst you're doing that, maybe we can get a few questions from the floor. Any questions for our panelists? Any questions? Anything that hasn't been tackled today? There's one over there. If we can get a microphone in the corner. Any other ones? And then there's one over here as well. Okay, so we'll go with you, sir, first.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think my question is directed at Nombasa from Amathole, since I'm a former Amathole resident. Just to ask, in terms of bridging the gap within that particular semi-rural area, what was the role of traditional leaders in you obviously trying to bring people on board? Because that's quite a critical factor in that area of the country, having that buy-in from your traditional leadership, because Amathole obviously spreads as far as the former Transkei. So I just want to know from how do you then bridge that gap in terms of bringing them on board and then obviously getting them to buy in to the whole concept that you're bringing to the Amathole district. Thanks.
Great, thanks. I think if you can answer that while they get the microphone, I think to the gentleman over there with the white shirt.
All right, thank you for the question. My presentation is based on the experience at Alfredo District Municipality. As I said, as I present here, I am the chairperson of the district of the technical directors in the Eastern Cape. I also worked, fortunately, at Alfredo for 5 years, and I was implementing the system. So, but the question is still relevant in terms of the role of traditional leaders. In this instance, we didn't consult traditional leaders on their own, but we had stakeholder consultations whereby we would call the affected communities maybe in a hall, which will be represented by the interested and affected parties. It could be the taxi industry, it could be the communities, what councillors, what committees, So we used those structures, but we never really went directly to the traditional leaders in isolation. But we did stakeholder consultation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Afternoon, everyone. Bani Khosana from Pragma. I think I'll direct my question to Christine, but Joyce as well can answer it. I've had the opportunity to visit Kenya and Uganda as well. And so, I'm coming from that context. I particularly in Kenya and in Uganda, I found an interesting, whether you talk about the use of M-Pesa, anyone who's been to Kenya will be amazed at how, widespread its use is. I mean, people literally pay everything from school fees to restaurant bills with this platform. That to me translates into almost a appetite within Kenya for digital transformation. And I know it might sound somewhat of a philosophical question, but where does that come from? There just seems to be this willingness to try many of these new technologies. They spread within the community. What do you attribute that to? Is it the education system? Is it something else, perhaps? I know, as I said, it's a broad question, but perhaps you can give an indication.
Thank you for the question. So I'll take the first shot at it. So Kenya, as you all know, has led in mobile money, and we have a very innovative population. So we encourage and we embrace technology even at a very early stage. So we have a lot of innovation hubs. We have a lot of competition for innovators, and the youth are really, really embracing technology, and we do not shun any development or any technological inclination of any kind. So you find that it's very easy for somebody to come up with a product, and it will be embraced and absorbed, and we have people who really invest in technology. So even in the water sector, where you find people paying, utilities by M-Pesa. I mean, the economy is running on M-Pesa as we speak. We have had to integrate payments systems into M-Pesa to allow people to get bills on their phones and pay directly. So water companies that we're working with are actually collecting their monies in advance, like within 3 days instead of 3 weeks. So the technological environment actually allows us to keep developing, keep innovating, and keep embracing new technological environments. So it's just a vibe in the country, and I think maybe I would like to invite all of you to come to Kenya to see what we're doing, especially with technology in the water sector and other utilities as well.
Maybe if you want to add there as well.
Yes, thank you for that question, and I'll share it within the national water and Ugandan perspective. I think, like Christine has said, some of these solutions, we do not have an option but to adapt. And the environment in which we are, we have supportive partners, the mobile banks, the telecoms, and even other stakeholders. But most importantly, the biggest population in Uganda is the youth. And technology is being embraced right from when we have the students who leave university. Immediately we are able to get innovation from them. So one, I could say the availability of the partners. Two, the population. Number three, with the widespread of the operations for national water, you can only do it when you're having an enabling environment for digital transformation. But also, a few years ago, we had cash offices where customers would walk in and they're able to make payment. It took a lot of sensitization and customer engagement to be able to explain, because the population which is aged, making mobile payment is hard. But took the customer relationship officers to visit you. They show you how you can be able to use your phone. They explain to you how you can be able to go to the bank and have a direct debit on your account. There was heavy investment on stakeholder engagement and sensitization. It continues to be there. It is not a 1 month, 2 months thing. It is over the years. So 98%, over 98% of our collections within national water are e-based payments, and the systems are integrated. You're able to see the consumption, you're able to see how much is billed, you're able to see how much is collected, and we had no option but to be able to embrace it and catch up with our colleagues within the region, and also to keep as a leading edge within the African utilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe just going past each one of you one more time. What are the sort of the key takeaways that you've taken from this conference? And maybe you can just share that with the rest of the audience. We can start with yourself, Nombasa.
All right. My key takeaways, that's one of the questions that was asked in the round table discussion when we concluded to say, what are you going to do when you get back to the office? My key takeaways from the session, a collaboration. It has been said, but that's what I'm taking away from the session. Number two, partnerships, and also efficiency, doing less, doing more with less, doing more with what you can, because especially in my space, we always complain about resources. Resources. We can't do this because we don't have this. We can't do this because we don't have this. So I think that session where we talked about efficiency, doing more with less, and I think that is my key takeaway, especially in the environment of local government space, where we're saying we don't have money. So doing more with less is my takeaway from this session. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Christina, your takeaways?
Thank you. So my takeaways are that we have similar challenges. We are all in Africa, but our challenges are the same. NRW, poor infrastructure, change management for staff. So we are all facing the same challenges in the environment we're operating. And we should probably look at how can we collaborate more, learn from each other, benchmark from utilities that have actually embraced technology, and learn from them, and see how we can create an ecosystem whereby we share information, we collaborate, and we kind of like grow together in this new space that we are operating in.
And lastly, Joyce.
Thank you. My key take home with the workshop, I was able to learn a lot from the roundtable discussions, and my key take home is different folks, different strokes. We need to build partnerships to be able to leverage on them, and technology alone cannot transform utilities. It takes investment in human capital to be able to do that. The other key take home is being able to incentivize the innovative programs, be able to support those innovations within the utilities and corporations, so that young people can be able to come up with solutions tailor-made to solve African problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, so maybe just quickly the results from the poll. So we had a couple of questions. What is the biggest barrier to the digital impact in your utility today? And an overwhelming component here is on funding. I think that ties quite closely with the discussions yesterday. Obviously, we need more creative ways to look at funding these solutions. We talked a lot yesterday around possible profit share structures. The mechanics of that are not necessarily clear. And I think there's a willingness probably within the private and public sectors to work on a combined sort of model that can help with those funding issues. And then quite a far corner there was the skills, which is a couple of votes there. Okay, if we move to the next one. So are your digital investments currently improving affordability for the low-income communities? I think the majority is saying no, not sure, and we don't measure it. There's only 5, I'd love to meet the 5 votes that are saying yes, because I think the purpose of putting these investments and creating these efficiencies is ultimately for service delivery, right? It's not just for us to put sexy new systems and softwares and applications that are not servicing our customers. So there's a shift in this result that we would like to see going forward. But I think that we're probably not necessarily always asking the right questions when we're implementing these solutions. All right. Where do you lose most value today? Okay, non-revenue water, I think that's a dead giveaway. Given the theme of many of the discussions this week, we're looking at 40% losses in most areas in South Africa. You mentioned some areas is up to 60%. There lies the real work, is how do we bring that down? Obviously, smart metering allows us to look at that, putting in telemetry, measuring flow pressure can allow us to also better manage the leaks within the networks. But really, there's also a concept here that we still need to follow through with is all our aging networks. What is the strategy around replacing some of those pipes in certain areas? How do we prioritize that? And how do we build strategies that are blended in order to tackle these issues? The funding mechanism that we all asking for sits underneath that non-revenue water number. Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please, for Masheke and the panel for what has been a very engrossing and fantastic conversation. Thank you very, very much.